Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie. Ja nazywam się Piotr Chłystak, jestem dziennikarzem Przeglądu Sportowego i za moment będę miał przyjemność przeprowadzić rozmowę z prawdziwą legendą. Po prostu człowiekiem, który znany jest pod każdą szerokością geograficzną, z człowiekiem, który powszechnie jest uznawany za najlepszego szachistę w historii. Umysł ma nieprzeciętny i choć ostatnie lata poświęcił głównie polityce, to dzisiaj porozmawiamy z nim o sporcie przede wszystkim. Gary Kasparow, hello. It's great to have you with us. Mr. Kasparow, you were in Poland many times. Now you are in our country once again. What's your best memories from our country? What do you associate with Poland, where your name is like a synonym of a great chess player?
Look, my many trips to Poland they were very short, and I wouldn't call myself, an expert in Polish affairs. I stayed in Warsaw, but I played a long time ago. I think in 1993 in Katowice. I visited Wrocław once, so I think I was in Gdańsk at one point. So there were some mixed memories, but for me, Poland was always a symbol of resistance against oppression. So I know a lot about tragic history of your country, and I now admire a lot of energy. So what I see around. So this is my second day of this trip, and I already recognize that the country is just is full of this dynamism, and it's very important because we need this kind of optimism for the future. And I think that this kind of optimism can always transcend political differences. So, I'm also very happy just to be here in Poland because we see a tremendous boom in the game of chess. And it's combined, with the successes of young Krzysztof Duda on the top. He's now just, qualified for the candidate tournaments. He won the World Cup. He beat the current world champion and one of the challengers for the title. So, and also we see a lot of interest for chess on the grassroots, and we have new sponsors coming in. So the fact is that Mokate is willing to invest heavily in promoting chess for education. That's a good sign, and more sponsors are just looking very aggressively into chess, trying to find its niche, to support chess as a very important tool for education and for family values.
You've mentioned about Jan Krzysztof Duda, our best player today, and you've also mentioned about sponsors. What kind of support from sponsors do they need to be on the top, to reach the top?
Look, this is talent comes first, and definitely he has a talent, but it's a tough competition. And every element is important. And of course, you need, more professional preparation. You need to hire coaches. You need access to computing power, because now doing opening preparation without powerful computers, it's probably, accepting, the loss of some quality. So it's a very comprehensive operation. So it's the trying to win the world title, and I'm sure he has his ambitions. So will require a lot of support from Polish sponsors, but from what I'm seeing now here, he will definitely get the support. It doesn't mean that he will then, climb to the very top, but I think that's in the current environment, I think he's just, he has very good chances of being on top of the candidate tournament next year and qualifying for the World Championship match. Again, it's still it's open-ended question. But I'm sure that this thing somehow mysteriously connected. The rise of popularity of the game, a lot of interest, at all levels of the society, and the growing success of a top player.
You played against Duda one time.
Yes, Blitz games. Yeah.
What can you say about him as a person and as a player, type of a player?
Look, he's a very nice kid. So I can say kid because he's 23 and 58. So it's and two of my kids actually are older than him. And as a chess player, he has a good style. So it's, I would say, universal style, more just just looking for dynamism. But again, it's very important that he can adjust to the challenges and winning the World Cup. It's a knockout tournament. So and beating, as I already said, world champion. Magnus Carlsen, and in the final, Sergei Karyakin, the former challenger who challenged Magnus in 2016, and beating some of other strong players on the way to the semifinal and the final. So shows that he can adjust very quickly. So, and that's an important quality in today's world.
Duda is a rising star, but the biggest star nowadays is Magnus Carlsen. Currently, Norwegian is the best, and you were his coach few years ago. My question is, what makes him so special as a player and as a person outside sport? Because probably this is two different things.
Yeah, they're definitely two different things. So I worked with Magnus for about a year, actually for just more than a year, in late 2008 to the beginning of 2010. And I believe that I just made quite a considerable contribution to his future success. But he had a great talent. And when I was approached, and asked to help, so I enjoyed it immensely because it's also a great opportunity to work with a talent of that caliber. And I knew that our styles were quite different, so that's why I could make a big contribution, but by helping him to look at the certain chess positions through my lenses. So because I'm more dynamic and aggressive player, and Magnus he could also play aggressive chess, but it's more like a Karpov style. So that's I recognize that Magnus has just its unique abilities, just to be on the top, because also his stamina. This is not just playing great game, but also being very consistent and very hungry for new ideas. So he kept improving significantly over a decade. But now I can also see weaknesses. So it happens. Nobody can stand top forever. He's still #1 player. I would say he's a favorite in the upcoming World Championship match against the Russian challenger Jan Nepomniachtchi. But I would say that his game today is more feeble than it was in 2018, 2019. And the fact is that he lost to Jan Krzysztof in the World Cup, and was actually on the verge of losing another match against young Russian. So tells you that it's just, there are problems he's dealing with. He still is phenomenally strong. And I would not, write him off. Just, don't even think about it. But, he needs to find a way to reinvent himself. So we'll see what happens. But again, now Magnus is being challenged by younger players, and that's already a sign that we'll see definitely the change of the guard on the top of the chess world.
Magnus is the best right now, but you are the best of all time. How it feels to be considered the greatest of all time?
Look, I don't know. This is how can you compare players that never met? So I stayed on top for a long time. So for 15 years I was the world champion. For 20 years I was on top of the world chess rating system, I was very pleased with my contribution to the game of chess. And now it's history. So it's a very glorious chapter of my life. But I don't make big fuss about it. So if people want to consider me the best, fine. Thank you very much. So I feel that I owe the game of chess, this glory, and I want always to, even now, being outside of the professional world, to make a difference, to work with younger players, I built Kasparow Chess Foundation in America and a few branches around the world. I just always want to promote the game and to make sure that the game keeps growing, because I think it deserves better treatment that it used to have. And now I think there was the phenomenal success of the Queen's Gambit. So we are seeing the phenomenal effect of chess having on people that never even learn how to move the pieces.
Mainly you are famous for your rivalry with Anatoly Karpov and against computer. There is something that you didn't tell about that matches so far, or maybe you are done of talking about that stories. You hear Karpov, computer, and think of enough.
Look, it's not just I spoke about it, I wrote about it quite extensively. So I had, many books, chess books and also non-chess books, related to my struggle against Karpov and the Soviet system, both at the chessboard and around chessboard. I had a book, Deep Thinking, that was very much centered on my experience of playing with machines and working with machines. So I'm not hiding anything. So I'm very happy to answer any questions. When I played Deep Blue nearly 25 years ago, and I lost the second match. I won the first one in 96, lost one in 97. So I thought it would be a curse for me. Now I believe it was more like a blessing because I had a unique experience that I can share with other people. So at the end of the day, I was the first knowledge worker who had his job threatened by a machine.
You are a player and an athlete, but you are also a politician. So as an athlete and as a politician, what's your opinion from the perspective of time? Collapse of the Soviet Union was good for sport in Russia, gave new opportunities, or maybe destroyed the financing and training system?
Look, A, I'm not an active player. So that's B, I'm not a politician. I'm more like a human rights activist and I support democracy. I'm not running for an office. So that's why, both of your definitions, they are just, they are falling short of reality. Now, as for the collapse of the Soviet Union, I would not even dare to debate it in the terms of the sport. The collapse of the evil empire was good. Good for Poland. So you got freedom. You got just, you could build your own country without Soviet communists and Soviet troops and KGB, dictating you how to live. So the collapse of the Soviet Union has a great positive impact for the world. Unfortunately, many of the lessons that we could learn from the Cold War, they remained unheeded. So we need to recognize that the evil doesn't go away, so it doesn't disappear. It could be buried for a time being under the rubble of Berlin Wall, but if we're complacent, it sprouts out. And I played for the Soviet national team. I got 4 gold medals as a member of the Soviet national squad at the Chess Olympiads. I led Russian team 4 times, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, also won 4 times. So, I don't think that, this is the judging dictatorships on their ability to support sport. It's a right way to understand the true nature of the events in history. So I wish we could do a better job after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And now you could see that even with all these dictatorial powers in Putin's hands, Russia does not have the same success as before. And I think that the sport should not be a measurement of a success of a political system.
And the last question, International Olympic Committee is making a lot of changes in the Olympic program. New disciplines are joining it. Chess should also be there, in your opinion?
No, I was never keen on this idea. I think it's just, it just doesn't make any sense. The first question is whether you bring chess to Summer or Winter Olympics. So it's the chess has its own history. We have our own history of chess Olympiads that bring a lot of countries, from around the world. So we have a history of our world championship title that goes way, back to 1886. We had our first official title being decided in a match 10 years before the first modern Olympics. I don't see how this is, including chess in the Olympics, makes contribution to the promoting the game of chess, because it simply doesn't belong there. And as for the changes of the regulations that are being made by the Olympic Committee, I would rather ask them to make changes that will not put people in a difficult situation. Because now the athletes have to go to China. And going to China at the time of the genocide of Uyghurs, I think that's bad. So that's why Human Rights Foundation and the chairman of this organization, we called, among many others, to boycott it, because we need, the sport to unite people. We don't want sport to be a part of the propaganda machine of dictatorships like Chinese.
So maybe the chess should be in a school program, school
Absolutely.
curriculum.
That's I've been advocating for nearly 3 decades, and I'm very happy to see that in Poland there's a massive support now for chess, making inroads and becoming, if not mandatory, but at least it's the and just an element, element of choice for schools, because chess is the best investment in education if you look at the ratio of investment and return. So it's inexpensive, but it could have, as is proven beyond doubts around the world, it could have a phenomenal impact on improving kids' abilities to analyze events, to recognize the patterns and see the applications.
Okay, thank you. That was a last question. Drodzy Państwo, Garry Kasparow był naszym gościem. Porozmawialiśmy trochę o sporcie i mamy wrażenie, że tutaj Jan Krzysztof Duda został wywołany do tablicy. Przed nim wielka przyszłość. Dziękuję raz jeszcze. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia.